I spent 30 days using AI to handle most of my coding through what we call vibe coding. And what started as an exciting productivity experiment turned into something that genuinely concerned me. Today, I'm going to be sharing the full story. Why I decided to ultimately drop this approach, because I think this approach isn't for me, at least not right now. So for those who haven't heard of vibe coding, it is this approach coined by Andrej, where you rely heavily on AI tools to generate most of your code. You describe what you want, accept the AI solution, and iterate quickly without getting bogged down into every details. I've been hearing amazing things about the productivity gain this vibe coding offers. So I decided to try it properly for a full month using Cursor AI on my project. My goal was simple: see if this could genuinely make me more productive and help me ship features faster. The first week was honestly magical. I felt like I had a coding superpower. I would describe a feature I wanted and boom, working code appeared. Complex functions, database query, even handling edge cases I hadn't thought of. My productivity skyrocketed. To be honest, I was shipping features that would normally take me hours in what felt like minutes. I was getting that dopamine hit of seeing things work immediately, and I started thinking, why would anyone ever code the old way when this exists? I felt like I was living in the future. But then I started noticing things. The AI was generating code at work, but it wasn't code I would have written. It was adding layers of abstraction I didn't need, using patterns that felt like I was over-engineering for simple use case. My clean, maintainable code base were becoming messy. Not broken, but they were complex in a way that made me uncomfortable. I find myself spending time to understand why the AI chose this certain approach when I could have just written a simpler solution myself. But I pushed through because it was still faster. This is where things get weird. I started second guessing myself on basic problems. Tasks that I used to solve confidently suddenly felt uncertain because I found myself thinking maybe I should just ask the AI. I remember one specific moment I needed to write a simple sorting function, something I have done hundreds of times. But instead of just writing it, I hesitated and thought, let me see what the AI would suggest first. That is when I realized, something is happening to my brain. I was becoming dependent on AI for validation for decisions. By week 4, I was already having full conversation with my community about this. One developer said, even the simple things I could do by myself initially, I have to kind of give them to this AI. And sometimes it gets me more confused. Others also said in my community that they've been skipping so many basics of late and they are actually very scared for themselves right now. And that is hard because I was experiencing the same thing. I wasn't just outsourcing code generation, I was outsourcing the whole thinking process that makes you a strong developer. The final straw came when I had to debug an issue in my AI generated code that I didn't fully understand. It took me longer to figure out what the AI has done than it would have taken me to write the feature myself from scratch. Vibe coding isn't inherently evil, but what I learned is that there is a difference between using AI as a tool and using it as a crutch. During my experiment, I discovered that Karpathy himself, I think he said it in his tweet, that he sees it as a spectrum. Like, he's still kind of doing way too much traditional coding than vibe coding, and he believes that vibe coding hasn't reached its final form yet. Even the creator of the term is being cautious about it, and I think at some point, Ezra on Twitter also pointed out that I think vibe coding is more like, you are romanticizing what could be possible with AI rather than probably what is actually practical for serious software projects. So it is not just me having this concern. There is a broader conversation happening about the right way to integrate these two. So what is the new approach after my 30 days? Here is what probably I'm going to settle on. I still use AI, but I have repositioned myself on that spectrum. Instead of letting AI drive my coding process, I use it strategically. For research, when I'm trying to explore new approach, to review my own code and probably suggest improvements. For documentation and explaining complex concepts. For debugging assistance when I am genuinely stuck. But the core problem solving, the architectural decision, I want to make sure that those are still coming from me. So the bottom line here is, if you're still thinking about trying vibe coding, here is my honest take. It can be incredibly powerful, but be intentional about how you use it. Are you using AI to amplify your skill, or you are using it to avoid developing them? Are you getting faster at building, or you are getting dependent on having AI think for you? For me, the 30 days experiment taught me that there is no substitute for understanding your own code. And yes, AI can help you build faster, but if you don't understand what you're building, you are setting yourself up for problems down the line. New tools are great, but don't let them replace the skill that got you where you are. You know.